Hi, welcome back to the OHMazing Way podcast. I am Beth Reese and I'm here with Jodi Golda Komitor, and we are talking about kids yoga, life transitions, and I'm so excited you're here in the second half, and we're going to hear more about what Jodi Golda, some recent changes in her life. And I can't wait to hear more. And she's actually going to start us off and help us all drop back into this second half. So Jodi, take it away.
Thanks, Beth. Okay. So one of my favorite ways to drop in and get super present that is found in many of the next generation yoga teacher trainings that we offer is a 5 senses, short little meditation. So if it's comfortable for you and you're available to, you can go ahead and close your eyes. And let's take a breath in together through the nose and an exhale out through the mouth. And closing the lips, bringing your attention and your awareness to your sense of taste, and just swallow and taste the flavor in your mouth. And just noticing it without a judgment. And then breathing through your nose and noticing your sense of smell here. And again, just noticing. Allowing that to go and bringing your awareness to your sense of hearing, listening to any sounds, my voice, any other nearby, far away sounds. And turning your awareness to your sense of sight, and the eyes are closed. Just notice what you see, even with the eyes closed, or if you have them open, noticing what you're seeing. And finally, turning the awareness to the sense of feeling. So if you're seated, just notice the sensation of whatever you're experiencing with your hips and your legs and your bottom touching the seat. Or maybe you feel your clothes touching your skin or your feet inside any shoes, or if you're barefoot with them on the floor. Noticing. And allowing all of this to just dissolve, to letting it go, and taking another breath in together, universally, wherever you are, we're together. And when it feels good for you, you can open up the eyes and taking in this beautiful sight. And here we are.
That was lovely. Like, I feel super calm, and my body sensations have changed in this lovely way. And I feel I would be remiss if I just didn't put in a little, underscore that for teachers and parents who maybe sometimes think that to add in mindfulness or yoga on or off the mat would take up so much time or time away from teachings. Like, really, and there's so much research there that just that time that Jodi Golda just took to lead us through those 3-4 minutes, those are really such a game changer in transforming people's accessibility to cultivate how they want to respond to something, and instead of just react. So I just had to underscore that. It was lovely. Thank you.
You're so welcome. I echo all of that. Small little thing, big impact.
Yes, absolutely. So, Miss Jodi Golda, you have gone through I often say every breath is a transition, is a new beginning. Mm-hmm. So there are those transitions in life, and then there are some bigger ones. starting school, moving, marrying, divorce, life passing, and in our lives in terms of what we are, how we are here to serve, and what we do in terms of work and service. You have just had, you're just experiencing one of the biggest life transitions of having created this business, next generation yoga. It started driving, it went to college. I mean, it was 21. It could start drinking.
It's legal.
Right, legally. Thank you. 21 years and all the things that you created and contributed to the world through it. And it came to you that it was time to transition and do something else. And I know I have been sitting in fact, the day I reached out to you, like I have a whole list of people I want to be on the podcast. Of course, you're on the list. And the day I saw you post that it was coming, remember I reached out and I was like, okay, like, come join me. Yeah. Jodi, would you share with us whatever you're willing to share about the path that led to this space, anything about the business side of it, and of course myself and others curious, what's next?
Yeah, thank you again. Thank you for the sweet invitation and the space to share. I haven't shared a tremendous amount other than the bits and pieces on through email blasts and social media, but it feels good to have a platform to share with you and your listeners, and to thank you everyone who cares enough to be listening, because it's big. It's no joke to have this 21-year child, right? And to put her up for adoption or pass her along to another. And
it's like she got married.
She got married. I married her off. Yeah. It's good. It's so good. It's so good. And I do feel so blessed. I feel blessed for the willingness to listen, because like you, I heard that whisper. It started about 6 years ago when I first moved to the San Francisco Bay Area. And I heard like, I think it's time, like it's time to do something different. It's time to, and I ignored it. I was like, not me. Like, I did not listening to that voice, because this is all I know, literally. I mean, I taught for 3 years in the classroom, and so I really ignored the voice for a good 3 years. Like really, like I struggled with it, or there was a few confidants that I would share, this thought with, but I couldn't talk about it without getting super emotional about it. And so, I didn't really know what it was about, except for that I started actually also at the same time as this voice came in, was that I started to do mentorship for kids yoga and mindfulness entrepreneurs, like similar to you and me, and people who are like already well in their journey, who are doing it for 10 years, but also who were like new. And so I started the Biz of Kids Yoga, and I created this online course, and I was started to work privately with people, and I found like oh my goodness, like I really, really, really enjoy this. And I'm a natural teacher, as I know you are as well. And but teaching something different other than kids and yoga, and also leading teacher training, I was like super jazzed up about it. I was like, wait a second. And so, like I said, for 3 years, I couldn't even like think about like, transitioning with NGY, but I was noticing that I was doing something that had me feeling really passionate. And after about 3 years, I got my, my big girl pants on, and I was able to actually have more professional conversations with people. And I got a lot of counsel, including from, now we could talk about my father, Stan Komitor, who has been my rock. He has been my hero. He has been my mentor. From day one, when I made that phone call to my parents and I told them I was leaving the classroom, they were both, and especially my dad was like, yes, you can do this. He is an entrepreneur himself. He had his own business for, I think it was like 40 plus years, which was a family business. And so he had been there from the very beginning. I remember we took a walk, and actually, I think the first thing you said to me is like, "You're crazy." He's like, "You're crazy. You got a good thing going." And he, and it's true. Next generation, like, I had a very good thing going. I mean, the business was thriving. I had a fabulous team. We were impacting lives. We're doing good work in the world. The financials were great. Like it was a good thing. So he was right. I was a little bit crazy, but ultimately underneath that, Beth, as you know, and this is where the yoga is, right? Like this is the truth of listening. It's like my heart was ready to move on. Like my heart knew that one chapter was getting ready to close, and that I didn't know, and I still don't know what the next chapter is opening, but I knew that that the season was changing. And so I just was willing to keep listening and to keep talking to people. And I got a lot of, like I said, counsel and professional support and advice. And so for about a year, I mean, I definitely started talking to people, and just I started making my list of who might be a good person to take over the business. And I, again, was just getting a lot of professional support. I wasn't ready to go with a business broker because I really believe that being a pioneer in the industry, I'm I know everyone. I know who might be a good fit. And so, I had some conversations with people, and the right person hadn't come up. And then I decided, I was like, if I'm going to attract the perfect person to take over, to marry my daughter, right? As you're saying, I'm not sure that's exactly it. I think I put her up for adoption, but or I sold her. I said, I gotta put it out there. I've got this healthy email list. And so last August, 2018, it took me, actually, I remember, from January to August, I was like, okay, this is the year I'm going to make the announcement. I mean, literally, I started crafting the email in January on my way home from Bali. I was in Bali at the end of 2017 to 2018. And I wasn't ready until August because, as you know, this isn't just I'm just going to do it, this thing. I mean, it really took 6 years for me actually to get to where I am now. And so I finally crafted this email and I put it out there to the email list. And it was so liberating. And I felt like I was carrying this big secret around because I didn't want people to feel like I didn't love NGY and I wasn't invested in it anymore. So I didn't tell people. And literally up until today, because I'm still on board to supporting Amy Lee, who is the owner of Next Generation Yoga now. And so I am very invested and totally believe in the company and wanted to continue to impact lives and for Amy to win. And so I was just I was holding this secret. And so putting it out there in August 2018 felt just a big exhalation. The truth of me was out there. And I know I've held those secrets before, whether it was wanting to leave a relationship or wanting to move for a while, from New York to California. And so ultimately, revealing this big truth was so big and so yoga. This is the yoga off of the mat, letting people in, letting people support me, letting people offer feedback and receiving it. And I collected, my list grew of many people who were interested in the purchase. And I had so many wonderful conversations with people and prospective buyers, and basically August through December. And then ultimately, Amy Lee showed up into my life in end of January. And she says to me, she's like, I'm interested in the whole business. I own a yoga studio in Columbus, Ohio, and I'm really looking for, something to that's going to help me to really nurture my passion for the youth and for yoga. And so I love what you're doing with NGY. And I was like, all right, Amy, I'm just telling you, I'm interested in talking to you. And I said, I'm really looking for a gracious, or I should say graceful sale. I'm looking for the process, as I said, it's been 6 years, 3 years. So I was really looking for something that was going to be easeful. And she was like, great. And the whole process, Beth, from when we had our conversations from end of January, we signed our contract on my birthday on April 24th, and then we closed May 1st. And so it's been about a month and a half since Amy's been the new owner, and it has been graceful, and she's wonderful. The NGY team has been so wonderful in transitioning with her, the community, all of our clients. So it's been pure grace. And I do believe that is my prayer, meditation, my willingness to communicate, my willingness to show up, my willingness to be authentic and just be like real and to speak with and with the divine. And so it's just been like a lovely, lovely, now it wasn't always lovely. Like there was definitely times where it was challenging, but it's been a wonderful experience thus far.
I love that. And just that setting the intention of, with Amy, let's do this gracefully. Yeah. You know, let's have it be this kind of process. That's so great. And, you know, Jodi Golda, one of the things you mentioned again here, and I really want to underscore because I think it's so important in the world we live in, and that is that it's around your authenticity. And I shared with you earlier that one of the ways I feel like I know you is because of the way you share yourself, including on social media. And I guess that is one of the key ways that I know you. And with that, and then thinking about the youth out there, and even like the yoga of social media, if you will, that one of the things so many people, including our youth, are challenged by is that so many of the posts only show the great. My life is great. This is great. And yes, you show that. You share your wins with us. And you also have some posts that are, you know, are very, you know, just very emotional and just revealing of what life is really like. Like, I don't want to say they're bad because they're not bad, right? But it's like you reveal the full spectrum of who you are. And what, and so if, you know, and how to get a hold of Jodi will be in the show notes so you all can follow her and track her and, you know, call her and invite her on your podcast. But really how important that is, and what, and that's also been inspiring for me, right? And how, and then the element of, well, how much do I share? And well, you know, if somebody doesn't like it, they can always, you know, tap out and not get my posts anymore. But there's something I just want to say thank you, because it's such, I think, an important way to show the, you know, the realm and the space and how we can use social media to communicate authentically and not just the, you know, the quote unquote good. Yeah. Is there anything you'd be willing to share about your kind of the space of how you see and create around social media?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for the reflection and for the honoring. You know, social media is a very vulnerable space for people. It's social, right? And it's that place where we expose ourselves, and how we choose to expose ourselves is all in the choice, right? And I learned a long time ago from one of my first teachers, Robin Lynn, who's no longer with us, but it was highly influential for me. And she taught me that my vulnerability is my power, and that it is like to let people in, because for a while, and sure, still, like I definitely have a, you know, a persona that I want people to see me as, but you know, if you look, and like I do desire to be my authentic self and to have people really know me, and I wear my heart on my sleeve. And I was telling someone recently, like, I'm quick to love, and But what I really want to respond to, Beth, is how you say that is like, there's choice, right? Like I have people that, you know, I have friends that like are constantly dumpers and they're just like constantly in that negative field and they're just like, they're complainers. And then we have the people who are just like, life is perfect. And we just kind of like, you know, and it's that middle ground. And this probably makes sense and it's obvious, but it's like, how can you really allow people into your world, right, to know you without being too much of this or too much of that, but in the middle? And I always say to people, because, you know, as I coach and as I mentor kids yoga and mindfulness entrepreneurs, it's really about the visibility, right? Because your marketing is your social media is your marketing, and it's, do people want to spend time with you, right? And how do they want to spend time with you, and it's attracting them. And so, you know, I always say, it's like, don't get on there and just dump. Like, get to the other side of your experience, have some wisdom, have some like, this is my learning, and maybe you can relate to it. But don't just come on there and be like a mess, you know, or you could be a mess and be like, and I know I'll get, you know, just whatever you need to do to clean it up in that moment. But like, no one wants to read a mess and be like left in the mess, you know? So it's like, there is that, you know, the art of sharing where it's like your truth, but it's also like your real, well, it's your truth and your realness. So I'm happy to talk to anyone ever if they, you know, are interested in sort of authenticating their social media presence. It's definitely, and I feel like sometimes super vulnerable, of course, and raw, and putting some stuff up there. And I will say I'm currently and loving it. I just recently took a little road trip up to the Pacific Northwest about 2 weeks ago, and I decided to delete the Instagram and Facebook app, and I'm just like, from my phone, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna not post about my trip, because I really wanted to go internal and just be with myself. And that, of course, as you know, pulls us. And so I haven't, since I've been back, which has been almost a week, I haven't put it back on my phone yet. So I'm kind of enjoying it. And eventually I will, because I do love sharing, and I'm thinking of other ways that I could share, like through blogging and stuff. So.
Yeah, I love that. And I recently did a 7-day silent retreat where we didn't have any electronics, among other things, for 7 days. And in the return to getting our phone back, I was like, I don't want to touch it, you know. But some of their coaching was, you know, every time you pick up your phone, like look at that screen and say, and just to be aware and just notice, right? And as you were so eloquently leading us through those moments, like just to notice your breath, notice the taste, notice the smell. And so when you pick up your phone, just notice, are you about to open your phone to distract yourself from maybe a sense of discomfort or dis-ease? Or are you going to use it to dive deeper, create a stronger connection, that sort of thing? And just to be aware. And for me, it's been a really nice, even just a pause to, even if I am going in like, yeah, I'm just kind of bored right now. It's like, well, what else could I do? I could breathe for a minute.
Novel idea.
Crazy. So anything you want to share about what's next, where you are now?
Thank you. Again, thank you for the inquiry, and it feels vulnerable to share. But you know me, I'm willing. And so I am currently still working with Amy Lee and supporting her and the team and the community with the transition of next generation yoga. So that feels great. I will be on board until the end of July, another about a month and a half. As well, I'm still mentoring and coaching private coaching clients with the Biz of Kids Yoga. And in terms of, I have it on my, you shared in my bio, like I really would like to take a sabbatical. I've been reading a lot about the meaning of the word sabbatical and the reasons behind why people take sabbaticals. And you know, we work until we're like 65, and then maybe we get 20 years, you know, of, you know, rest or retirement, maybe 15 if, you know, for some. And so, I mean, I've worked hard already, you know, 25 years between the 21 with NGY and then 3+ in the classroom. And so it's like, I just, you know, what a lot of people do is they take off a year here and then they, you know, add it on and maybe they retire a little bit later. And who knows what my life is going to be. But like, I feel like this is just a time right now in my life where I would like to experience life without that hustle, without that grind, without that like pushing. And listen, Beth, it could be a week, it could be a month, it could be a year. I have no idea. I mean, literally, I have no idea. And every morning I sit in meditation and I listen and I ask and I like, just show me, you know, and where, like, I'm living in Oakland, California right now. I have a feeling I'll probably want to go, like, even like, I'd love to talk to you about your 7-day silent retreat. Like, I'm open. So I'm open to ideas. I'm open to, I would like to just use this time of dismantling this identity that I've had for 21 years in a very conscious way, and also really allow my next version of me to come through in a very clear and integrous way. And so I'm just open right now. I don't have any like, this is what I'm doing next yet. You know, I might know in a month, I might know in a couple months. So I don't know. And the one thing I'm practicing right now, because I'll be honest, it's a little uncomfortable. Like, it's a little uncomfortable dismantling this identity of 21 years. And so what I do know is that I'm getting comfortable being uncomfortable. So that's where I'm at right now. And that's what feels like what's next. And I'm open. I know that I love collaboration. I know that I love teaching. I love the mentorship that I'm doing with yoga and mindfulness entrepreneurs right now. And I also am open to something fresh and new coming through.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, goodness. Well, that,
yeah. Exhale, right?
Yeah. And what really has, and you mentioned it before, but what I'm really sitting with is the practice of non-attachment to everything always being great.
Yeah.
Right? Or that feeling, and I've experienced some of that myself, and what it's like to, you know, when you think about like the water or the sea, and when it's very super wavy and maybe then very still, and then when it's just kind of peaceful, you know, and what happens when we are accepting of content as a space and of listening. So really, really inspiring, Jodi Golda.
Thank you, Beth.
Well, I am, like I said, I feel like there's so many other conversations we can and will have. So I hope you'll come back and keep talking. And I'm so grateful for you, your generosity today, of course, and for listeners having the opportunity to be with you, and really, again, for all that you've created and been, and this being you are gracefully, with intention, cultivating, you know. So thank you.
Thank you for seeing me. So grateful for you.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Be sure to join us and share this podcast and share the mindful breathing tools and moments you learned today. Really, you know, one breath, one tool can change someone's life. So pay that forward. So be amazing, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.